Hello everyone, my name is Lisa, the nutritionist here at Our Generation, and every Monday and Wednesday I'm here on Instagram doing a live for you at 12:30 Eastern Time, answering any of your questions in real time so that you can ask me questions about diet, health, nutrition, weight loss, our products, anything you like. Just type them in the comment box and I'm happy to answer the questions for you. That's why I'm here. So last week we had an evening segment last Wednesday at 6 p.m. just to see if it's easier for people to maybe make that time after work. But our regular time is 12:30 Eastern Time, Mondays and Wednesdays. I have been a nutritionist for about 20 years. I've worked with Our Generation for 4 of those years. And I thought you might be interested to talk a little bit about the top questions that I get asked as a nutritionist, because it kind of filters into the questions I often get asked during these calls. So the first one is, where do I get my protein from? And how much protein should I have in a day? Oh, and we already have questions. Great, I'll answer it in 1 second. The people are really kind of hyped about protein. I think people have a kind of this thought that protein is the most important thing to eat or to get into your diet. And it's one of 3 macronutrients. It's protein, carbohydrates, and fat. And it's no more important than the carbohydrates or the fat. It's equally as important. So the first thing I'd like to tell you is that don't get so hung up about protein being the be all or end all. It's important that you balance your meals and balance your macronutrients. To be continued, let me answer the question. What are some initial ways to lose lower belly fat after age 40? Boy, is that a question. As I always say, this might be your first time here, Sammy, my main clientele as a nutritionist has been 2 groups of people. One are perimenopausal and menopausal women between the ages of 40 and 55 that struggle to lose weight, especially belly fat. And the second group of people are people with autoimmune conditions. So that is typically, welcome to all you people that just joined. That is, those are the 2 main groups of people that I've worked with over the years. So what I will tell you, number 1, is that it's not an easy battle to lose belly fat after 40, especially if you're in the perimenopausal years. Now, perimenopause, if you're not familiar, is the 10 years prior to menopause. So that could be at 40, it could hit at 42, it's usually, for a woman, it could be as young as 38. It's usually late 30s to mid 40s, somewhere in that window. It's usually anywhere from 10 to 12 years prior to menopause hitting. So, and it hits every woman differently. So some women are hit with belly fat they can't lose. Some have the whole hot flashes, insomnia thing happening early that usually happens in menopause. Sometimes it happens to people in perimenopause. So it kind of just totally depends on your body. And the reality of it is it's all due to your hormones being in flux. So the most important thing you can do to lose weight after 40 is to balance your hormones. And that's a whole bigger picture. One thing you can do that's very easy to do without a whole lot of research or trial and error is just learning how to properly combine your foods. So never having fruit and fat together in the same meal is a key, meaning keeping your light foods, which I consider anything that's lower in fat, more water rich, so fruits, vegetables, juices, keeping them all in the first half of your day, breakfast and lunch. Eat light foods. Save your heavier foods, which are your fats and your heavier proteins, till dinner time. That automatically separates the fruits and the fats, which conquers the first issue. And once you start eating those heavier foods, so dairy or protein, whenever you start to, if it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, if it's dinner time, whenever, once you start eating those heavier foods, don't go back and have more fruit. Just keep them separate. Have all the fruit you want. And I mean that sincerely. You can have 10 apples in a day if you want. There's no limit to how much you can have, but have it all in the first part of your day. And once you start having fat or protein, don't have more fruit after. There's a few exceptions to that rule, but I'm just giving you the general premise here. That one change alone will usually remove bloating and lower belly fat. Secondly, I could not more highly recommend doing some Pilates. Now, I was never a Pilates person. I was more of an intense HIIT workout kind of person, kickboxing and stuff like that, until I injured my back a few years ago. And then I was it was either do less intense workouts or don't do any workouts, and I wasn't giving up my workouts. So I actually found this app. I'll tell you the name. Her name is Caroline Diesler. And she has an app called Reset or Join Reset. I can't remember which it is. I belong, but I can't remember. It's Reset, I think. And she has nutritional plans on there, which are totally in line with what I believe, which is why I found her in the first place. But her workout plans, now she's like an ex-model. She's like very slender. I mean, don't be intimidated by how she looks, but I will tell you that just doing her workouts, I have never been so defined in my core, my lower and upper abs, and even my arms and my legs. And they are mostly using body weight. There's a couple little she uses a little bit of light weights, but mostly it's just your own body weight. You can do your workouts right at home. I'm addicted to them. I do them almost every morning. It really helps. First of all, it helps my back, which is nice, strengthens my whole core, but the results are great. And it's just so much less intense so it's better results than I ever got with the more intense workouts. And I have decided that the reason for that is my cortisol is not being elevated every time I work out. So these lower cortisol workouts work really well, at least for me. And I think that goes for most women in their 40s and 50s, which I'm right in there in the 40s. I definitely recommend eating the light to heavy and doing lower cortisol workouts and focusing a lot on your core. And she even has, this girl even has lower abdominal specific workouts, and they really are helpful. I've always, that's the area I've battled with the most of my body is if I'm going to be bloated somewhere, it's always my lower tummy. So I've been there too. And I don't have that problem at all anymore. What's important to know about protein powders? Well, you were asking that of someone who's a whole food, mostly all raw, a holistic nutritionist for 20 years. So I am pretty set against most fractionalized nutrition. I mean, some supplements are good and some protein powders are cleaner than others. I believe in getting the whole food source whenever you possibly can. So I would always promote getting protein from real protein sources as opposed to a protein powder. That being said, if you are a protein powder person and you can't live without it, because there's a lot of people who are very attached to the protein powder, the best brand I know is called Sun Warrior Protein, and they're an all raw company. So nothing is pasteurized, nothing is processed that much compared to other companies. There's no weird additives, sugars, fillers, things added, no gums, that kind of stuff. It's as clean as I've ever found. And that is by far my favorite brand. They have a chocolate and a vanilla and all the flavors. So if you want one, I would recommend that brand. That being said, as I was starting to say, there's a lot of hype about protein, and it's, to me, very unnatural. It is so very difficult to become protein deficient. It's like you'd have to be in a third world country eating corn all the time to become, and even then, most people are protein deficient. There's protein, there's covert protein, which means covert's like hidden protein in almost all foods. I mean, like bananas have covert protein, and most foods you eat. I mean, there's a ton of protein in dark leafy greens. That's why dark green juice is one of the many reasons why it's so good for you. And that's protein your body can actually utilize and absorb, just like the iron and calcium found in plant foods is so much easier for your body to absorb and use than it is like in milk or cheese and stuff. So yes, protein's important. I eat protein every day, but I don't go out of my way to have more protein than other things. I mean, if anything, I always promote leaning more into your carbs. It's so much more important to lean into healthy carbs because that's our fuel. That's what gives us our energy to do everything that we do. And if you eat clean, healthy, simple carbs, they break down easily and it's instant fuel. Instead of, I used this example in the past, if you could have a piece of steak, all the proteins in there for you, it's going to take a couple hours for that steak to break down before you're going to get any of the benefit from it as far as energy goes. Meanwhile, if you have an apple, you're going to have energy within 10 minutes of eating it because you're just going to gently gently raise your blood sugar, and there's the fiber in there too, so it's not going to be like in a healthful way that also gives you energy at the same time, so that's my take. Like I said, I'm not a big supplemental or powder kind of person, so I definitely lean more towards whole foods, which is why I love our generation, because we are just all whole foods. You're so welcome, Sammy. Did I catch I think there's one more. Separating fruits and fats. Isn't that crazy? So we were told for so many years to eat an apple with peanut butter or like dried fruit nut mix and things, and all the things that are, they're still healthy. They're not unhealthy as far as they're not going to cause disease. But if you're trying to lose weight or trying to beat bloating, or if you're struggling to maintain your weight, it's probably the worst combination is to mix fruit and fat. So that, like, fats being, dairy foods, oils, meats, nuts, all those things, avocado, keep them separate. And I recommend if you're going to make a smoothie in the morning, don't put yogurt with it or an avocado with it. Just have it be fruits, frozen or fresh fruits, greens, and water. You can always add some dates or honey to sweeten or something. But like I would never recommend putting, like yogurt or protein. I mean, like I said, I don't recommend protein powders to go in them either for that same exact kind of reason. And they don't digest well in your body. And together, let me explain that a little bit real quick. So foods all digest at different rates. So they move in and out of your gut in different, speeds. So if you eat, for example, I'll say an apple again, that's mostly water with fiber. It breaks down quickly. It's in and out of your gut within about 35 minutes or something. If you eat that same steak that I was telling you about, that could be in your, gut digesting for 2 to 6 hours. It takes everybody's body is different, 2 to 6 hours to break down heavier fats and proteins. Most people that struggle with weight loss in general are slower metabolizers, which basically means you metabolize that food more slowly. You break that food down more slowly. And I've used this example for you guys before. You can test it yourself if you want. I did it and I was not surprised. I mean, basically what you do is when you wake up in the morning, don't eat anything. Wait until you have a true empty hunger pang feeling in your stomach. And that might, if you actually listen to those cues, it could be afternoon time before you feel that, depending on how late or what you ate the day before. Or it could be when you first wake up. It just depends on your body. Wait until you feel that genuine hunger, not like mental I want to eat, but like genuine hunger, physical hunger, and eat just one handful of raw almonds or any kind of raw nut. And then I challenge you to wait to see until you feel true hunger again. And a normal I shouldn't say normal, the average metabolizer will feel hungry in about like 2 hours. But someone who's a slow metabolizer, so that's someone who maybe struggles with weight loss, lots of times it's women, will sometimes take up to 4 to 6 hours to metabolize in the same way. So when I tested it on myself, it took a full 6 hours before I was genuinely hungry again. So that answered a lot of my questions about why I probably struggled with weight loss when I was younger, because I never knew anything about the digestion rates of foods. So I certainly never knew about how to combine them properly, not to put this with that or this with that. So rather than give you the whole laundry list of rules, because there are a lot of like exceptions to the food combining principles, it's just easier if I tell you keep fat and fruit separate, eat all the fruit early in the day, eat the fat later in the day, and don't mix the two together. And that works 90% of the time. That works for most people. If you have time, can you please share more on balancing hormones? You started to touch on that earlier. Yeah, it's not that I don't have time. It's just that it's a very deep conversation that kind of needs its whole own like an hour or 2 hour segment to teach that. And it's different also for every woman, men too, but obviously this is more of a female problem. But there's a few general things that I could certainly talk about. And I don't know if you are a subscriber to any of our products, but if you're part of the Juice Club, I did a whole hormone segment. So the Juice Club is a group that I have. If you subscribe to any regeneration product, you get invited to a monthly webinar. So it's similar to this. It's me talking, and you can ask questions, but it's like a Google Meet setup. So we're actually face to face, and there's just a very small, intimate group of us. I've got to know most of the members there, and they ask some really great questions. So, and lots of times I ask for feedback. What do you want me to talk about next month? And so hormones was a big one. It's not all women. There's some men in the group too, but it's mostly women. So I did a whole hour, or like an hour, 20 minutes long, I think, segment about hormones and how to balance them and tips and tricks for that. So if you are a Juice Club member, you can actually watch the recording of that. It's recorded for you. If you're not, it might be on our blog. Check our blog. Sometimes we post those webinars to our blog, and it very well could be there. I'm just not totally positive about that. That being said, how to balance hormones in a short talk. Number one is the best thing you can do first is to cut out the things that cause imbalance in your body, right? So, I mean, obviously your body is going to naturally probably become imbalanced as you hit a certain age. So lessening the effects of that is like defense number one. And so that means removing the toxic foods and toxic things in your life. It's not just food, and I'll get into that. That's why this talk gets longer. It's not just your diet to balance your hormones, but to take out the things that are toxic. So that means toxic foods. That means referring to processed foods, inflammatory seed oils, dyes, preservatives, all those things that are unnatural, including the things like the same natural flavors on the label. Those directly affect your system in a negative way. And one once in a while, might not, but we are like bombarded with them in all our foods. So if you look at any processed food label, like take any box or bags in the supermarket, and you're going to see a whole laundry list of things there that you probably don't recognize, and your body doesn't recognize them either. So it needs to do something with them because it can't process them. So it either stores it as fatty stores, or it goes through your liver and kidneys, and it becomes a toxic thing, and it eventually could end up causing different kinds of diseases or obesity or all the things. So in addition to toxic foods, there are toxic things that you put on your skin and use to clean your home. So hormone balancing hormones are extremely intricate and sensitive. So when you're in a phase of life where your hormones are already in flux, so in this case for women, I would say between 40 to 55 without question at the very least, but really it's all ages of life. For women especially, your skin is your biggest organ. You've probably heard this, but you might not have taken this to heart, how quickly your skin absorbs toxins. I'll tell you an example. I've used this once or twice if you've been here before, but when I was in school for holistic nutrition, one of the courses I did, I don't remember what the course was, but one of the examples in the textbook was if you put bulbs of garlic in warm water in a bucket and you step in that and barefoot, your skin from under your feet will absorb that so quickly that you'll have garlic breath in 20 minutes. And I remember thinking this was so crazy, but I happened to be in the room with my brother when I was like reading it at the time, and he had to try it. So he gets in puts in a bucket of water with the garlic and stuff, and lo and behold, they were right. They had he smelled like garlic within less than 20 minutes actually. So that's how quickly your skin absorbs what you put onto it. I know, crazy, right? That's what your skin puts onto it. So just imagine all of the personal care products you use, even if you're a minimalist, with your skincare or with your makeup, or if you use perfume, if you use hair products. Now, obviously your hair is not attached, but your scalp is, right? And you're breathing in the fumes of what's in your hair too. So you can take this really, really far or not. But if you are a person who's struggling to balance your hormones, I can guarantee you all the chemicals you're surrounding yourself with what you clean your home with and what you put on your skin, 1,000 million% disrupt your endocrine system, which is directly affecting your hormones. Most of those products have endocrine disruptors in them. So, and there's a whole list of those. If that is not my wheelhouse to be able to tell you what they are, I just use super clean things that I understand the ingredients of. Or I have actually, I have a source that I go to vet. It's another Instagram influencer. Her name is Low Tox Lily, and I have used her for years because she is like the cleanest of the clean. She knows her labels inside and out for anything personal care product related. So I highly recommend a follow for her if you're interested in cleaning up your personal cleaning, and she does personal care. She's an advocate for a clean makeup and skincare company that I love their stuff. But she really, really, really knows her stuff. So I recommend you find someone who you really trust, because there's a whole lot of greenwashing that happens out there with personal care products, just like there are with food. I told you guys this before. You can't trust the front of a package when it comes to labeling at all, because they will they'll call out everything they can, legally mention and make a product look really healthy. They'll say, oh, gluten-free, fat-free, sugar-free, or la 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 la. And meanwhile, like the back is a list of junk that happens to also be gluten-free and happens to also be fat-free. But there's, potassium sorbate and natural flavors and dye. And I mean, you can call Skittles fat-free too if you want. So you have to always be super careful of how you're in, even with the cleaner companies, the companies that are legitimately cleaner than like what you buy in a regular supermarket, you have to read those labels too, because they have, I've learned this from working with Our Generation, they have what are called clean label ingredients. So, occasionally we will if we have a product that's something we can't make in our facility, like we used to have a powdered cleanse product. Now we didn't make that in our facility. We made the recipes. I created the recipes actually myself, but a co-packer put that together for us because we don't have that kind of machinery. And when I was working with that, it was an eye-opening experience, because he would say things like, well, we can put this in and it'll be a clean label. We can put this in and it's a clean label ingredient. And it was ways to trick consumers that a label would look clean, like saying cane juice crystals instead of processed sugar or whatever, as an example. But that it would look clean, but it's still junk. So of course, like I saw right through that, and I was like, oh, no. Like, I want fruits and vegetables. That's it. So if we can't find a way to do it, we're using somebody else. And that's exactly what they did, even though they hated me, but that's what they did. So, you have to be so aware and educated to really even understand how to read a label, because a lot of it is just like fluff. It's just like fancy ways to say unhealthy things that make them seem like they're clean or healthy. And that's why, I 1,000% stand behind what we do as a company. I wouldn't work here if I didn't. Everything that we do is legitimately just whole foods. There is no synthetic anything. There is no fractionalized anything. It is just the whole food, whether it's juiced or, we sometimes powderize it, whatever we do. It is just whole foods, nuts, fruits, vegetables, seeds. That's it. So, and I vouch for that. I always will. So, we don't do any of that clean label business. We actually have clean labels for real. So anyway, point being is that you have to really, really, truly look at your labels. And if you don't know what you're looking at, find a source who does, and let them guide you on how to do it. I think I might have missed a couple of comments. I have enjoyed your cleanses several times. Oh, that's awesome, Sammy. I'm glad to hear that you have. Can I have sugarless gum? This is my first day. I'm guessing of a cleanse. A sugarless gum is not going to negatively impact your cleanse results at all. You certainly can have it. I will tell you though, most of them are full of scary ingredients, so look really carefully with what you're chewing. But as far as from a cleansing standpoint and like a weight loss standpoint, it should not impact you negatively with your results. Great questions, you guys. I think I got them all. I'm just scrolling. For those who joined late and you missed, my name is Lisa. I'm the nutritionist here at Raw Generation. I do these Instagram lives Mondays and Wednesdays, 12:30 Eastern Time. You can ask me any questions you want in real time, and I will do my best to answer them for you. They can be about our products, or they can also just be about general nutrition, wellness, weight loss, health, whatever's in my wheelhouse. You're welcome, Kelly. Where do you prefer to shop for clean skin products? I actually buy all of mine online at this point. There's a store that I love, I don't know where you live, on the East Coast in the Village in New York City, that I used to go to in person to get a lot of my things. But now I order from them and have them shipped to me here in New Jersey. So I'll tell you what I use. I'm happy to share with you. And let me think. So for my skincare, I use a company called, it's a brand. Yes, the website is Live Live, so Live Organic in NYC, and they have a Yummy, BEE, Yummy skin food, they call it. So like my facial cream is just like, it's honey based. It's like 5 ingredients. It smells amazing. I love it. I've used it for almost 2 decades now. And I also use their product for my chapstick and for there's a honey mask that I like. And then makeup wise, I like the brand I mentioned, Crunchy is the brand. You can, if you have Instagram, I would recommend finding an advocate like Low Toxicity, for example, or someone else to get you a nice advocate code, and then you can get discounts when you buy the stuff. They're having a huge Black Friday sale, like 50% off skincare right now, which I've never seen in the years I've used them. So if you think you want to try it, it's a good time to try it. And I get nothing for saying that. I just happened to see it come on my feed yesterday. So I use quite a few of their, I use one of their serums, and I use their, a few of their different makeup products. And then I also like a company called 100% Pure. However, there are some questionable ingredients in some of their labels. But that being said, I'm filmed a lot for work, and I'm on stage a lot for my other job. So I have to have makeup that really shows up once in a while. I don't wear it every day, but I got on a stage, and I will use their bronzers and their makeup for when I need more of a full face of makeup. And I use them because it's cleaner for sure, and I don't have it on every day. That's the majority of what I use pretty much. Hair care wise, the company I use is called Sheer Miracles. There's also Sheer Miracle Organics, also online. All her products they're like organic, vegan, and I believe she told me once that they're we wouldn't eat them, but they're food grade. They're so clean. I don't react to them. I react to everything. I'm very sensitive to chemicals, and if I don't have a reaction, I figure it has to be pretty clean. So I use her stuff for anytime if I let my hair go curly, I use her gel and her mousse. So that's pretty much what I do. Not 100%. Like I use Trader Joe's tea tree shampoo because I happen to like it, but I know that stuff's not clean. It's as greenwashed as it gets, but I just like it, so I still use it. So you give and take, right? Do the best you can do. Okay, I think I got all the questions now. but feel free to keep asking if you still have them. We have more time, a little bit of time left here. So where did I start? My conversation started talking about protein and how we just don't need as much of it as they tell you need. We need it for sure, but we also need the other macronutrients. We need the carbohydrates and the healthy fats. And what we need more than anything are healthy carbohydrates. I fully believe and endorse having an 80-10-10 split, 80% carbohydrates, 10% healthy fats, 10% healthy protein, because you will also get healthy fats and proteins within the carbohydrates if you eat whole foods, because they're just naturally inherent in those foods in small amounts, but they're still there. And that balance has always worked for me from a weight loss and health immunity perspective. It has worked for countless, like hundreds of my clients over the years, including ones that train like even for like marathons and like super, heavy duty training. It's great for them. But the carbs are not processed carbs in most cases. They are whole food carbs. So that's fresh fruits, raw vegetables, whole grains like rice or quinoa, barley, oats, or of course potatoes. You guys know I love potatoes if you've been here before. So white or sweet potatoes, they're both equally as good for you, and you can really have them without any kind of restriction. That's why I added them to the cleanse list. So when I first came onto the company, it was a little bit different how cleanses were structured. You were told that you could have like nuts and things, and not that you can't have nuts when you cleanse. I highly recommend that you don't, for the reason I was just explaining earlier about mixing fruits and fats. You'd be better off not to have them during your cleanse and just let yourself have like a virtually fat-free span of a few days there. It's kind of good break for your digestive system and to see some real results quickly. But you certainly can have healthy carbs. So, we added a substantial amount of foods to the cleanse approved list, and you will not have impeded results when you eat them. So you can have a baked potato or a sweet potato while you cleanse. You can have steamed veggies or raw veggies. You can have all the fresh fruits you want while you cleanse, and it will not hinder your weight loss results. So, people always look at me and they say, well, you're skinny. What do you know? I was not always slender. I struggled majorly with my weight for many years. So I truly had to find what worked for me, and then I shared it with the masses after the fact. So, Kelly, is there anything you can put in the green drinks to help with the taste? You can, sure. I really, I love our green drinks. I don't know if you're talking about ours or other brands or what you do. The green juices, I really have prided myself that they don't taste green. I make them taste like it's really as good as possible. That being said, if you're not used to green juicing at all, it might take a little bit of time to get used to. However, we do test them on like green juice newbies, and they usually love them. So unless you happen to get like a random batch where they maybe weren't quite as sweet, the green juices are usually really good. I should say I'm not a vegetable person, so maybe it takes a little time to get used to for you. What I would say, you probably, I don't know if you have access to like a juice bar, but you can get a little raw apple juice and just add a little extra apple juice to it. You could even add like a little, if you want, what you could do? You could add a little pure maple syrup, just 100% pure maple syrup, because it's very viscous, it stirs right in, and a little tiny bit goes a long way, and it would sweeten it up a little bit more for you. So maybe you just need a little bit of a sweeter taste, or some lemon. If you like acid or you're not into so much sweet, lemon really cuts any kind of bitterness. So if they're tasting a little bitter to you, you can add a little bit of fresh lemon juice. Those are the two things that we usually do. Once in a while, you get produce that's kind of, that's why you most of the time sweet greens taste exactly the same, but once in a while it's not quite as sweet because just apples weren't as sweet right now. We're just using fresh produce every week. So, the farmer sends us what we get. But we really try to keep our flavors as consistent as we can. So hopefully that helps a little bit. Kelly, curious, what product are you trying? Are you trying a cleanse, or which one of the cleanses are you doing and stuff? You're welcome. We'll have a little more time here. What was I just saying? The protein question. So yeah, people ask me all the time, where do you get your protein from? Or is that enough protein? Isn't that too much fruit sugar? Not enough protein? Do you have protein at every meal? So, I think you guys already heard me cover this, but you certainly don't need like these overt sources. Overt meaning like legit protein sources you think of, like turkey, chicken, eggs, whatever. You do not need to have them at every meal. You can have them at every meal if you want to. You don't need to have them at every meal. And I include that even for women, menopausal and perimenopausal women, because I know that's like very much pushed by the medical community. And I have very high respect for the medical community, but I will tell you, but not in the world of nutrition, because they just simply do not know. They're ignorant to it. Most, not, I shouldn't say all. Some medical professionals go out of their way to learn about nutrition for real, but they're just not taught it. And my brother went through medical school. I know exactly what he had. He had one nutrition course in 8 years of schooling. And he called, I'll never forget this. He called me, he walked out of class and called me from UMD&J. And he's like, Lisa, you're not going to believe what they're telling us. They're saying that like all oil's the same. It doesn't matter if it's extra virgin or if it's canola oil. I'm like, I know this isn't right, but I don't know what to tell them. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I just know you're going to tell me it's wrong, which it totally is. So it's just a matter of ignorance, and so they're just not educated. So I would personally recommend that you don't take a physician's advice when it comes to diet, that you find a dietary specialist, whether it's a nutritionist, a dietitian, someone who actually really knows food in and out. Unless your doctor happens to be really well versed in it, they just probably haven't been taught it. So they just say what all doctors say: eat more protein, get your vitamin C, eat the 4 food groups, like whatever things. But those are not real tangible solutions for people that actually usually make a difference. So that's my little spiel on that right there. Good afternoon. I made a purchase yesterday. I never received a confirmation number. Okay, Glory. That's strange. I would say to reach out to customer service. If you call them, the number's right in the bottom of the website in the footer. They will answer immediately and take care of it for you. They'll confirm that they definitely have your order, and if they don't, they will make it right. They're amazing. Our customer service team is so on top of stuff. So you can either write an email to them or you can call, and they will take care of it for you. I don't have any access to see that, or I would do it for you myself, but they'll take care of it. You're very welcome. 7-day cleanse. Kelly, which 7-day cleanse are you doing? Are you doing the skinny cleanse, protein, or the deep detox cleanse? Curious. I'm not sure if she's still here or not. We'll see. Maybe not. Oh, skinny. You are still here. That's great. That's our best-selling cleanse by far, and it's the best for weight loss. 7 days, you should see some nice weight loss with that. And if this is your first day, I think my guess is based upon what you just said, you'll probably like the cool greens the best. It's the least vegetable-y of the bunch. I think you'll like that one. And the sweet roots and the citrus carrot are delicious too. They don't taste at all green. They're just the vegetables and fruits. And the sweet greens is much sweeter than the tart greens. So I don't know which one you started with, but I think give your body a day or two to adjust. If this is your first time cleansing and you're not a vegetable person, give yourself a couple of days to adjust to it. And don't be afraid to eat, like I said, off the Cleanse Approved list to help you get through it. I think that you will definitely get into the flow and end up loving it. The carrot is good. Yeah, the carrot's my favorite, actually. Citrus carrot. I could drink that all day. My favorite cleanse juice. My favorite non-cleanse juice is the Strong and Lean. If you haven't tried that, guys, it's so good. I have one almost every day. Okay, this is great talking with you guys. I will, if you are in here, just please send in your comments. It could be testimonials if you want to share progress you've made using our products, or things you've liked, haven't liked, whatever, of our products, questions about our products or about nutrition, health, wellness, general stuff. This is your chance to ask questions and get answers in real time. Hi, I'm on day 1 of the skinny cleanse, and so far so good. Awesome. I am planning to immediately follow up with the skinny method. Is that okay? That's the exact perfect plan. I always talk about this. Great plan. That's exactly how it's intended to be. So when I first came to the company, we just had cleanses, which are awesome, but we had no follow-up plans for people. So people would lose weight when they would cleanse, and then they didn't know how to keep it off after they stopped cleansing, or how to keep going with healthy habits, whatever your goal was. So the skinny method was born from that, idea in my head of what we could do to give somebody something to do after a cleanse that helps them keep their results and keep more. So with the skinny method, after you do your cleanse, start the day after is my recommendation, and you will keep off the cleanse results. You should, that you lost. So if you lose 5 pounds, you should keep those 5 pounds off, and then ideally you lose another 2 to 3 pounds every week that you do the method. So it's meant to be repetitive. It's a weekly program. You can do it for as many weeks as you want, and the intent behind it is that you will actually learn healthy habits. So you'll learn how to make the right choices when you're food shopping. You'll learn how to prepare meals in a healthier way, because in that program, if you probably haven't looked yet, but when you look through, it's a pretty robust guide that we give you in that program, in the box, and there's a QR code that links you to even more guides. I highly recommend that while you're cleansing, you educate yourself on the skinny method, that you read the guides, that you look click into the PDF and look at the recipes, and there's an eating out guide in there. There's a healthy kitchen swaps guide in there. There's all kinds of stuff. Educate yourself before you start it so you get the best results from it. And then you can take that skinny method. You can do it multiple times. You can do it one time and take the information and keep going. But, my personal recommendation, what I've seen for years with my clients and then also with our customers, is that if you do something for 3 or 4 weeks, it becomes habitual. So if it's within your means to do the skinny method for 3 or 4 weeks, put it on subscribe and save, because you'll save a ton of money. You get the extra perks, which include like free shipping, 50% off every one that you get. You get a live webinar with me separately of this, a bunch of things. But it also, the main reason for I'm saying to do this is because you'll actually be able to make it a habit. And by the time you're done with doing it for 3 or 4 weeks, you won't have to think so much about like, which olive oil brand do I buy? Which this do I do? What that do I do? It will just become a new habit for you. And if that's your goal, to actually make sustainable, long-term healthy habits, plus lose 2 to 3 pounds every week you do it. It's not, it should keep happening. We've tested it multiple times, and that's the results we've always have gotten with people. That's the goal. That's the whole premise behind that program. And the ideal way you can do the skinny method by itself, but the ideal way is to do a cleanse first and the method. That's like the perfect. So you figure it out on your own. So good job. And definitely keep us posted. Come back on Wednesday and let me know how you're doing with your cleanse, because you'll be on day 3 by then, I guess, if this is your first day. Did you say? Yeah. So come back on how many days you're cleansing for on Wednesday at 12:30 and let me know how you're making out. And then you'll be ready to start your skinny method soon. Guys, if you didn't know, we do these calls every Monday and Wednesday, 12:30 Eastern time. I do my best to always be here. If I can, I get Jess to come from the company, but usually it's me. And I answer your questions in real time as much as I possibly can. I'm the nutritionist with the company here, and I'm also the head of product development. So basically, every flavor and system you try, I created for you. So I'm the best person to explain when you have questions about it, right? So it could be questions about our products we talk about. It could just be questions about your diet, nutrition, health, wellness, or just testimonials you want to share, how you're doing. I love to hear the progress, and so do the people here. So please join us. Again, it's every Monday and Wednesday, 12:30 Eastern time. Our customer service is great. Thanks, Kelly. Yes, our customer service is awesome. We have a great customer service team. We're a team of few, and they work their butts off, really. They're on top of everything. They send things immediately to me if there's something that I have to handle to answer for a customer, and they handle other things on their own that they can do too. They're always on the phone. They're always quick to answer an email. They answer on the weekends. They answer late at night. So we are very proud of our customer service team. They always do a really great job. So thanks for saying so. It's a pretty great place to work. We have not a huge team, but we all work really hard and we all love what we do. We're all passionate about health and wellness. We're all passionate about giving customers a truly transparent and good experience with real results. So that's what we are all about here at Raw Generation. And that's how I'm going to close today. Unless there's any last minute questions, I'll give you a last call for any other questions. Otherwise, I'll be back again, like I said, on Wednesday, 12:30. So you can certainly join me again and bring your questions, and we'll chat some more. Okay, so thanks for joining today. It was great. Thanks for all the engagement. This is awesome. All your questions were great. And good luck to all you first-time cleansers. And I think it was Kelly and was it Harvey? A few people said you were cleansing this week. So I hope you come back and let me know how you're making out. So have a great day.